Yeah, it's with a really heavy heart that we begin this deep dive today. Speaking directly to you, our listener, we have some news that, well, it's really hit so many people hard. Today, we need to acknowledge the passing of a true titan, a legend. Hulk Hogan, born Terry Jean Bollea, has passed away at the age of 71. The reports we're seeing indicate medics were called to his home in Clearwater, Florida, early Thursday morning. It sounds like it was following what's being described as cardiac arrest. The scene apparently involved authorities, EMTs, and reports say Hogan was carried out on a stretcher into an ambulance. Just a sudden, really somber turn of events.
Yeah, and what makes this feel particularly poignant, I suppose, is the timing. It was only a few weeks ago his wife was publicly pushing back against those rumors that he was in a coma.
Right, I remember that. She's quite firm about.
Exactly. She reassured everyone, said his heart was strong, as he was recovering from some recent surgeries. He had that neck procedure back in May. So hearing this now after those hopeful updates, it just adds another layer to it.
Yeah.
Makes it feel even more impactful.
It certainly does. And look, this is obviously a moment of real sadness, and the news has sent, well, shockwaves is the right word, but we want to use this deep dive for more than just reporting his passing. We want to reflect on something bigger. We're here to try and unpack the huge legacy, the really profound impact of an icon whose influence was just so vast. His passing really does feel like an earthquake in the entertainment world. We want to understand, why he resonated so deeply. How did he change the game? Let's really try and get into this, because Hulk Hogan's influence on professional wrestling, it wasn't just big, it was transformative. He didn't just take part in the sport. He somehow lifted what was mostly a regional kind of niche thing into this global family entertainment phenomenon. But how did one person manage that? What was the secret sauce there? How did he cause such a seismic shift?
That's a great question, because his genius wasn't just about, the wrestling moves themselves. It was his incredible understanding that wrestling really, at its heart, is about storytelling. It's about connecting emotionally with the audience.
Yeah.
He wasn't just performing. He was a master brand builder way before we all started using that term constantly. You think Hulk Hogan, and bam, you see the visuals, right? The shirt rip.
Oh, yeah, the classic shirt rip.
The flexing, cupping the ear to the crowd, the Hulkamania chants. These weren't just random things he did. They were these powerful, almost ritualistic cues that built this direct, visceral bond with everyone watching. He turned viewers into active participants, into Hulkamaniacs. And if you want a perfect example, look at that main event against Andre the Giant, WrestleMania 3rd.
Legendary. Still talked about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a match that pulled in, nearly 100,000 people, which is staggering in itself.
Unbelievable numbers for the time.
Right. It was a carefully built story, a symbolic passing of the torch, you could say, a clash of giants, of eras. It went beyond just wrestling. It became a cultural moment, something people still remember vividly, because Hogan knew how to create moments that you didn't just watch, you felt them, you remembered them. He turned these individual performances into shared experiences for millions.
And he didn't stop there, did he? Once he'd conquered the mainstream with Hulkamania, red and yellow, all of that, he knew he couldn't just stay the same. He showed this incredible ability to reinvent himself. After all those years as the all-American good guy, he made maybe the most shocking turn in wrestling history in 1996. Bam! Suddenly he's Hollywood Hulk Hogan, darker, edgier, the villain leading the New World Order, the NWO. Nobody saw that coming.
Which really makes you ask, okay, how did that huge shift affect not just his career, but the entire wrestling landscape?
Yeah, what was the ripple effect?
Because the NWO wasn't just a successful angle. It tapped into something much bigger. It was like this counterculture thing. It mirrored this growing mood in mid-90s pop culture for, edgier stuff, anti-heroes.
Right, things were changing then.
Exactly. So by turning his back on the fans, Hogan plugged right into that desire for something unpredictable, something subversive. And that strategic move, embracing being the bad guy, it reignited interest like crazy. It pushed both him and wrestling itself to totally new levels of fame and cultural relevance. That whole NWO era, it defined a boom period for wrestling. It sparked the Monday Night Wars with WCW against WWE, which had millions glued to their TVs every week.
Absolutely intense competition.
It really solidified wrestling as a mainstream force. And it just showed Hogan's amazing adaptability. his willingness to tear down the very thing he built.
Risking it all, really.
Yeah, risking his entire legacy to stay relevant. He just had this uncanny sense of what audiences wanted next. It was masterclass in disruption, disrupting himself.
It's so clear, though, his life wasn't just contained within the ropes, the squared circle, as they say. He became this massive public figure. His presence went way beyond sports entertainment. What were some of the key things he did outside wrestling that kind of broadened his reach, made him even more visible?
Oh, absolutely. Beyond the ring, his public life was just as, well, eventful and complex. A huge moment was his induction into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005. A totally deserved recognition.
Yeah, that felt right at the time.
Definitely. But then you also have to acknowledge, impartially, the later complexities. He was removed from the Hall of Fame in 2015. There was that scandal over racist comments from an old recording that surfaced.
Right, that was a really difficult period.
It was. And it really highlighted how fragile a public image can be, especially now, how past actions can come back and really impact a legacy. It definitely sparked a conversation about accountability for public figures. But even through controversies like that, his public profile stayed pretty strong. He made that big move into reality TV with Hogan Knows Best, starring with his family.
Oh, yeah, that show was huge for a while.
It really was. Debuted in 2005, and it gave millions this kind of unfiltered, often funny look at his family life, away from the wrestling character. It was a smart move, honestly. It cemented him as a household name, made him seem more accessible, maybe relatable to a whole new audience. People who weren't necessarily wrestling fans saw him as this kind of television dad. It definitely extended his cultural footprint in a big way.
And I think that's exactly why the reaction to his passing has been so huge and so emotional. You see so many people remembering him not just as the wrestler, but as that familiar figure, that TV dad, someone who, for better or worse, was just there, part of their weekly viewing, part of their childhood, maybe something families watched together. He really did have this uncanny ability to connect with people across generations. From the kids doing the whole say your prayers, take your vitamins thing.
Believing in Hulkamania, yeah.
To the adults who grew up watching him dominate.
It's really striking to see how that's playing out now, online and in statements. Just this consistent wave of grief and respect. You mentioned Barstool Sports calling him an absolute legend, and that sentiment is everywhere. Tributes from other athletes, actors, musicians, millions of fans.
Sharing memories.
Yeah, lots of personal stories about how he inspired them or just brought them joy. And what's quite moving, I think, is his last known tweet. Just simple. Every day I'm reminded that God is good, always thankful. It shows this sort of profound gratitude. A very human side, grounded, It makes his passing feel even more poignant for people who connected with that message, too. It resonates beyond the spectacle.
Yeah, indeed. As more details come out and people really process this news, it's just abundantly clear. The wrestling world, the entertainment world, they're deeply mourning the loss of a genuine icon. The grief is just so widespread. It's hitting generations of fans, his peers, anyone who just encountered that huge persona on their screens. He left such a mark.
Absolutely. When you step back and look at his whole career, Hogan's impact on pop culture, on professional wrestling, it's just undeniable, enduring, unparalleled, really. His influence went way beyond the sport itself. He fundamentally changed how wrestling was presented, how it was marketed, how people consumed it.
He brought it to the masses.
We brought it to a global audience like nobody before him. He wasn't just a wrestler, he was a pioneer, a cultural architect, you could say. He understood narrative, he understood personality. His legacy, both the triumphs and the complexities, it's going to echo for a long, long time. It's a testament to that unique power he had to connect and inspire millions.
So maybe the question for us, for you listening, is how does the passing of figures like Hulk Hogan, people who become so woven into our own memories, our shared entertainment history, how does it make us rethink their legacy? And what does his ability, his undeniable knack for connecting with so many different people over so many years, what does that tell us about the power of these larger-than-life characters? He was truly a phenomenon, a legend, a complicated figure, for sure, but someone who absolutely left an indelible mark. Today we remember him with sadness, yes, but also with a real appreciation for the incredible moments, the joy he brought to so many. Rest in peace, Hulk Hogan. You will be missed, brother.